Get ready for the ultimate showdown on the Columbia River. 30 elite anglers are battling it out, but only one will rise above the rest to claim the title of champion of the river. The stakes are high, the competition is fierce, and the action is non-stop. This is the BAM Pro Tour. Let's go! The BAM Pro Tour is a hybrid fishing tournament with the following rules. For the first 2 days, anglers compete by either catching the 5 heaviest bass or by landing the most scorable bass over 14 inches. On the final day, weights reset, and it's the best 5 catches that will determine who is a champion.
You know, honestly, I'm gonna kind of let the river show me and guide me into what sort of pattern I need to be on. This format offers 2 different aspects to get into the top 10. One of them's keeper count, one of them's by overall weight. A lot of times in smallmouth tournaments, you're gonna find the guy catching the most fish is also gonna have the biggest limit. That does apply here on the Columbia River, but it's not exactly set in stone that way. Sometimes when you change your tactics and get less bites, you are gonna catch bigger ones. So I'm just gonna kind of like sniff around, follow my nose, and do what's best for me.
I bet if you had 40 fish a day, you should probably be close. But who knows? I mean, there's probably areas over here you could get on a school of fish and catch 80, 100 fish.
This is a conditional river, so if it's flat calm like this, it's really hard to get a reaction bite, at least for me. So I'll just kind of play it by ear and see how they react. A lot of times you can throw a big, like an A-rig or a swim bait, if it's kind of windy and choppy. But a lot of times you just go out with a drop shot and a little jig or a Ned rig and actually can do pretty well. So I'm gonna have it all out on the deck, and I'm just gonna kind of rotate through everything I can and try to figure out the best way to catch as many as I can.
It's go time on the Columbia River, and Jake Arbuckle begins the tournament day on fire. Jake takes advantage of early morning low-light conditions just in front of the river lodge and cabins.
No, we literally blasted off about 5:35 this morning. I pulled out of the ramp. I'm about a quarter mile from takeoff here. It's what, 6:08. We've got 2 fish in the boat. Both of them are right at 3, just over 3 pounds. A little topwater bite. Just kind of really stumbled upon a school here on this flat, and the current wraps around. It has a nice edge to it, and they're stacked up out here. We're fishing from about 15 to 16 foot of water, and these smallmouth, they're just coming up and crushing this morning. They're feeding pretty well. Watching live, looks like there's a pretty decent sized bait ball that we're sitting on, and we're just going to keep hucking and winding here, rotating through some top water. And when I see the school come up, if they don't commit to the top water, here we got them busting out here to our left. If they don't commit to the top water, I can follow up with a drop shot or something slow and pick off 1 or 2 hopefully. But I'm gonna take advantage of this low light we got going on this morning and see if we can't pick up 15, 16 pounds. Oh, they're literally busting right behind us. There's one, there we go. That grass actually helps. It gets them, loads them up, and they quit fighting so hard. Whew. Let's go.
The active morning bite continues as we pull up on Bo Raymond Fletcher.
I'm fishing your traditional spook, which you saw me explode on my trolling motor just a minute ago. And I'm also fishing a lure called the OG by a company called Castco. These guys are saltwater bait makers that took one of their saltwater baits and kind of had it mimic a fleeting bait fish. And out here today, I've watched numerous schools chasing bait fish in the air. And so throwing this thing out has really gotten them pretty excited as well. So I'm interested to see how the bite's gonna develop, because now we are, the sun's starting to, at the boat. the sun's starting to kind of pop up, and you know, they may start changing their habits a little bit this morning, but for now I'm going to stick to what I'm doing. That's a decent fish. That should give him our number. Come here, buddy. There it is.
Fish.
Yeah, she's pretty. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not mad about it. I have one good fish in there. I'm gonna conservatively say 12. I don't know. It may be a little more. It's always so hard. These Columbia River smallmouth, man, they have big tails, really big bodies. They gotta be strong fish, you know, if they're always in the current. And so sometimes you can get 1.5 pound, 2 pound fish and it'll look, you know, much bigger. So it's kind of a tricky call. I haven't taken the time to scale just because the bite's been so good this morning. I just haven't taken the time to put anything on the scale yet.
Oh, oh, come on. There he is. Nope. Yep, got him. Oh, that's a big one. No, it's not as big. I must have had him in the grass. That's still a, oh, that's a good fish. Oh, there we go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Right there. Another 3 pounder. There's one. Oh, that's a big one. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus, that's a big one. Oh, that's a giant. Now that's another 3. Come here, baby. Woo, that is a big one. That's what we're looking for right there. Another solid 3.5 pounder.
Jake Arbuckle continues to tear up the Columbia River with his early morning bite. Now let's jump over to Hayden Lee, who also reeled in a quick 13-pound limit of smallmouth bass.
And it seems like when you throw the topwater at them, when they do that real hard explosion, it seems like they just hit it with their mouth closed and they blow the topwater out of the surface. But the fluke, since it's just a little bit underneath the water, when they chase these little bait fish, they don't jump out of the water, they just skim across the surface. So it seems like they want to eat them just below the surface. Oh, why are they doing that? That was a good one. God, these things are strong. You got to use 2 hands when they're digging on you. The little ones are stronger than the big ones.
Colby Pearson is riding a fishing high right now, as he's got back-to-back victories on the BAM Pro Tour. Let's see what he's got for the Columbia River.
You know, honestly, I don't expect there to be a ton of different changes. It was hot for a couple weeks, but right now it's like unseasonably cool. It's in the 80s to low 90s, which for this region this time of year is actually pretty chilly. So I think the fish are gonna be generally in the same phase. They were post-spawn then. Obviously they'll still be post-spawn. Gonna be fishing all different water columns from 1 foot of water all the way down to probably 20 or 22 feet of water. So it's just finding those bigger wolf packs of large female smallmouth. Probably all grouped together, feeding up on different fish moving up and down the river, whether it's shad or salmon, smolt, or perch.
So there's like a couple fish down there on the bottom.
Yeah, one's coming up on me hot right now.
Oh, there it is. They're coming up.
You just got to keep it away from them, and I promise they're faster than you are. That's the key. If you feed it to them, they'll just lose interest.
Colby is really making the most of Garmin LiveScope out there. Stay tuned. When we return, we'll dive back into the action on the third stop of the BAM Pro Tour, brought to you by Tackle Warehouse and Bass Boat Technologies.
Randall and I want to talk to you real quick about choosing the right electronics mount for your bass boat.
And we know the quality and effort that Van Foster has put into this company.
So what you get is a custom fitted mount, not some mass produced universal mount for every bass boat out there.
Seat pedestal plugs, tool holders, steering wheel spacers, and battery trays are all made with the same attention to detail that Bass Boat Technologies is known for. Check them out at bassboattech.com. You'll be glad you did.
The newest addition to the Basscat STS family is here. Introducing the Caracal STS, showcasing aggressive styling paired with enhanced performance and a continued dedication to raising the bar. Measuring in at 20 feet 2 inches with an ultra-wide 96-inch beam and rated for a 250 to 300 horsepower engine, the Caracal STS boasts agility and speed and is finished with premium features to satisfy any angler. Basscat Boats. Feel the rush.
Tackle Warehouse has been the premier online tackle shop since 2003, with a huge selection of not only the latest and greatest from the biggest brands, but the hard-to-find regional specialties as well. Tackle Warehouse. Click, save, fish.
Welcome back to the BAM Pro Tour on the Columbia River, presented by Tackle Warehouse and Bass Boat Technologies. Day one action is lining up the Tourney X leaderboard. Let's catch up with Conrad Demecs.
Yep, first time here. I'm 17 hours from the house, loaded up the wife and the little dude and sent her north. So this is a cool place. I've heard a lot of cool stories. My dad fished an event here probably about 20 years ago, and so I've heard some stories, but I've never got to experience it. So it's been pretty cool to kind of lay eyes on things that I've heard and starting to put some pieces together. You know, I've never fished actually like a river system like this. You know, all our lakes at home are all lakes, they're reservoirs. So current's abnormality for me. But you know, to beat these guys, you got to be well versed and versatile, and you know, if you don't catch them, they are. So you got to learn quick. That's a good one. He's not as big as I thought, but he might help. Woo! Little color change. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Columbia River's full of a bunch of these 2.5, 3 pounders. Go make some more.
Billy Hines is also experiencing the Columbia River for the first time. Billy is using a drop shot with a heavier weight to get the smallmouth to bite.
So we're fishing a long point. It comes off of one of the islands here. You see that island over there. This long point comes over here, and we're fishing actually the inside edge that's taken off and going to that the old chute against the Washington side over there. And all this is just a break line. I think when the sun's over there, I think it creates a shade line on the back side of that drop off, and I think they like to be tucked up in that shade line on the back side there. Haven't had a whole lot of luck on this side, so according to Garp, they're on that side in the shade.
Got him. Go, get it, got it. Good one.
Definitely a keeper.
Definitely a keeper.
The Columbia River has been a hotbed of action for our BAM Pro Tour anglers, with day one winding down. Watch as Jake Boomer, Carl Okerman, Ish Monroe, Nick Cloutier, and Zach Thompson battle it out for a coveted spot in the top 10. Let's dive into the highlights and see how they're making their mark.
Whoa! That's a giant one.
Lines out. It's time for the anglers to head back into Boardman Marina and see how the field of pros stacks up. Greg Gutierrez managed to take the number 1 spot in weight with over 19 pounds after using shallow topwater baits. Landing an incredible 67 Tourney X verified bass, Jake Boomer finished out day 1 as the leader on the keeper count side. Colby Pearson is close behind with 65 keepers. Day 1 is done, but the excitement is just beginning. Our anglers are still chasing the top 10 spots. Stick around after the break. We'll dive into the day 2 action of the BAM Pro Tour on the Columbia River, presented by Tackle Warehouse and Bass Boat Technologies.
Champions fish with Garmin.
That's me, sweetheart.
Whoa! For the second year in a row, the Bassmaster Classic finishes with a cherry on top. Finally, Christie conquers the Classic. Yeah, 2024 is Hamner time.
Hey folks, pro bass fisherman Mark Lassane here. My garage was completely cluttered with outdoor gear, but then I discovered StoreQuest self-storage. Now check out my space. It's like my own personal oasis. All my fishing rods, my gear have a home away from home. With everything neatly organized, I can spend more time doing what I love. Thanks to my StoreQuest unit, I've decluttered my life and made room for adventure.
Bass Angler Magazine brings you more. If you want to learn the latest techniques, win your next bass tournament, or simply catch more bass, then Bass Angler Magazine is for you. From California to Florida, finesse to frogging, Bass Angler Magazine is jam-packed with how-to information from the world's best pros. Published every season, Bass Angler Magazine is crammed with fresh new articles designed to help anglers of all levels learn more and catch more bass. Sign up at bassanglermag.com today. Bass Angler is also available at Tackle Warehouse, Bass Pro, Cabela's, or for your mobile device at the Apple newsstand.
Welcome back to the BAM Pro Tour on the Columbia River. Day 2 is shaping up to be the tight race for some anglers to make it in the top 10 cut. Colby Pearson and Jake Boomer have a solid lead on the Tourney X keeper count, while Greg Gutierrez holds the top spot on weight, even though his keeper count was much lower.
Feels good. Weather's nice. Cooled off a little bit, just a smidge. So yeah, I'm not sure how these fish change to these weather conditions with it, you know, the wind's getting ready to blow and stuff tomorrow. So I'm hoping they're going to chew today, and that'll get me locked in. You know, I'm right there, number 5 in number count and number 1 in weight. So I'm feeling good. I caught a lot of fish yesterday, and they were all good fish. So I'm good with that.
Just a little groggy. Yesterday was a long day, but they're quiet riots on. I mean, like, let's get this going. We're on the Columbia River, man. Let's bang your head a little bit. So, pretty excited.
So, what was working for you yesterday?
Everything. I just hunted them down. I caught everything I could. It didn't matter if it was deep or shallow. I just was trying to be a machine and get all of them in the boat. And I figured if I did that, I'd either have a good weight or a good keeper count, and it worked out for me. I'm gonna do the same thing today.
I've got a offshore spot that's got a bunch of schooling fish, and you know, it's kind of a spot that could do both. The numbers are there and the quality's there, and so I'm gonna go work that over as hard as I can and then see what happens. You know, we might have some changes in store today. They've shut the dam off for the boat races, and so that could affect the shallow bite for sure. I don't know. So kind of got to keep that in mind and go look at that. But I did find some shallower fish on the grass lines in the afternoon yesterday that were better quality fish than what I already had, and so hopefully we can do well at both, and along the way qualify for tomorrow and hopefully learn something to help us out for tomorrow.
Win, lose, or draw, it's always fun to get out and go fishing, and we're blessed in this country to be able to do it. And you know, I look at things like you know, I can go from coming in late on my last tournament on the last day to the next a month later I'm leading it on the first day. So, you know, things are good, things will change, they're dynamic, we'll make it happen.
As the morning sunrise crests on the Columbia River, it's time to blast off and catch some bass. Let's jump in with Day 1 leader, Double G.
They were chasing bait, and they've only come up twice. You were here for one of them. The other one, they came up just before you got here. So, you know, it just hasn't been, it's not quite the same as before, you know, obviously bait driven. But I know those fish are here. I know there's a wad of them up there. I just hooked 4 of them. Boom, 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 boom. It's not like they just drove through and then they're gone. I mean, the guys that are herding bait that's what they are. They're out there doing their thing, getting them all herded up into this shallow stuff. I mean, we're parked in, I don't know, 6 foot of weeds. Right up here, it's 3 foot to 2 foot, and those fish are just pushing them up, corralling them up there, and smashing the bait. I need them to smash my bait. Oh, he act like a big boy. Act like a big boy, but he's barely a keeper. Barely a keeper. If he is, I don't even think he'll make it. We'll see. And ta-da! We got a keeper. Ta-da! I'm in. I got to be just smashing them. I'm probably kicking everybody's butt right now with that one fish. We're at 7:30 right now. Yesterday I was already culling an hour ago. I got one fish in there, 14 inches in a 16th. So I got work to do, that's for sure. I got areas that have fish in them. This whole area does, and there's plenty of spots. I didn't pound them so hard that there's no fish in them, but something's obviously changed a little bit. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'll figure it out. But fish have tails, they swim around, things change. We'll see. We'll just see what happens. It's fishing. It's fishing. I'm here to fish.
Jake Arbuckle is rolling off his successful morning bite from Day 1, while utilizing his Garmin LiveScope to aid in finding schools of bass in the river.
One of the things I noticed different from yesterday to today is yesterday all the fish were spitting up shad, and today there's a lot more crawdads in them. There it is. Oh geez, that's a big one. Boom, there we go. Right off the top. There we go. 3.7. There we go, 14 and a half. So we still got 2 2/8 we gotta get rid of. What number? So we got a 3.5 pounder, about 15 foot of water. The
The school's not real tight today, so I'm really having to pinpoint my cast with using live scope. That fish was sitting about 50 foot out, suspended over 20 foot of water, rolled it right next to her, she smoked it.
Jake Boomer had a great first day on the Columbia River, logging 67 keepers on the Tourney X leaderboard. He used 2 setups, a classic A-rig and a jig head minnow.
I caught a lot of fish, a lot of my keepers, shaking, they call it shaking a minnow, hover strolling, whatever you want to call it. And I was using our Alpha Angler Lightsaber, which is 7'1", and I was throwing a Z2 on it. I think the Shimano Vanford reel 2500. We design all our rods to run with 2500 size reels that cast the best that way. P-line, everything P-line, P-line braid, P-line leader, P-line, I don't use anything else. P-line is the deal. Second setup, which won't be a surprise to anybody, is the A-rig, and I throw it on our Alpha Angler Wide Glide. This is a Revo big shooter, just a big spooled Revo that I've had forever. It's great, 20-pound test. This A-rig is actually a Flash Mob Junior, and if you look at the baits that are on there, it's whatever's available in the box. I literally just grab them and shove them on there, and if they eat it, if they don't, I move it around. I don't have like a math to the baits. I care about the weight of the A-rig. I want it down or I want it up, so I'll have 1 or 2 tied on, but I literally don't care what's on there. As long as it's kicking when you're reeling it, I feel like fish that eat an A-rig are in a feeding mood and it's opportunistic. If you get 1 or 2 chasing it, guaranteed one of them is gonna bite it. So those were the 2 setups that probably did the most damage for me this whole week.
Mastering the Columbia River's ever-changing currents is no easy task, but Bo Raymond Fletcher is up for the challenge. Here's how he's tackling this tough fishery.
There it is. That's a keeper. Look at his friends. Yeah, he's got a little school. Look at that one below him.
Oh, that's the big one down below.
I know, it always works that way, Mark. I just need a net so I can get them both. Look at him. God, that's another good one. They're here. I just gotta keep poking at them. Yesterday, I could not get them to really eat a craw pattern or anything off the ground so much. It was very strong bait fish pattern, but today I seem to be getting, seems that they're sitting more on the ground, they're more belly down. And it looks like we got the current back this morning. That's I think the one trick about the Columbia River is, you know, we have no prediction on what the river is going to be doing, when they're going to open and close the dams. And that's kind of the big X factor, because these fish will respond pretty heavily based on, you know, if there's a bit of current or not, or it might change what they want to eat or what their bite is. You know, this river makes this really nice S curve, and so it allows, you can kind of find pockets where you can get out of some of that, and I really liked how they responded to me in the flat water yesterday. So I'm just kind of sticking to that for right now. See what happens. There's a good fish. So I'm going for numbers today. That's my main focus. So this is exactly what I'd like to be catching. Come here. Not giants, but you know, they get our 14-inch minimum going and keeps my numbers up.
As the anglers make their next move, we're stepping aside for a quick break. You're watching the Bass Boat Technologies BAM Pro Tour on the Columbia River, presented by Tackle Warehouse.
The news continues.
Right now, news moves fast, unlike anything we've seen before. So we have to be ready.
Ready to get it to you when it happens and with the smart context you need.
Dish customers can stream us live anytime, anywhere. With the Dish Anywhere app and the Fox News app, we're there.
With real news and real honest opinion, and it's all included in your Dish service, so you don't miss a moment.
With the Dish Anywhere app or the Fox News app, you can watch live breaking news anytime, anywhere.
Competitive anglers powered by Mercury Pro XS outboards have won more bass fishing tournaments than all other brands combined. With lightning quick acceleration, legendary reliability, and lightweight design, Pro XS has everything you need to travel farther, faster, and harder.
It's the moment when everything is on the line and precision, power, and control make all the difference. A moment over 20 years in the making, anchored on loyalty, trust, and support that goes beyond all expectations. A relentless pursuit of perfection. All born from a revolutionary idea to help you rule the water. Power Pole.
Welcome back to the Bass Boat Technologies BAM Pro Tour on the Columbia River, presented by Tackle Warehouse. Our anglers are battling it out on the water. Nick Cloutier has turned to fishing bigger rock structures near the Blaylock Islands in the Columbia River.
If you don't fish this place on the regular, it's almost like finding a needle in a haystack. I mean, this river is huge, and they could literally be anywhere. Out in the middle of nowhere, you know, up on the bank. I mean, with no practice, not fishing here all the time, you know, it could be challenging to, you know, put it together, but, you know, we've been doing this a long time, and, you know, if you know your electronics, you know, that's a key thing is, you know, taking this spot here and then looking on my maps and trying to find other spots that are similar, and you just got to see if they're there or not, pretty much. And that's the cool thing with the live scope is I could pull up to a point and scope around, and if nobody's there, I'm not gonna waste my time. In the school about 7 of them. She wanted to play.
Jason Hickey is also taking full advantage of Garmin Live Scope, finding a school of bass to reel in 3 keepers on Tourney X.
A dozen every hour of these, and every once in a while it'll be a 4-pounder. That one's a little better than the last one. Skinny guy. Now stay pinned. Stay pinned. Oh, yeah, he'll make it. Out here chasing bait, yet he's got a throat full of crawdads. Getting some away though. This one acts like he's better. Stay hooked up, buddy. That one's a little better, huh? Here. Fish. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh my gosh. A little better, he'll help me a little bit. Two and a half, 270 maybe. If these fish keep biting, I'll probably just sit here and work on the keeper count. I'd like to go, at some point, go shallow and do some things to maybe catch a 4-pounder, but in the meantime, I'm not gonna leave biting fish. I've learned my lesson with that. My goal was 40 yesterday and I only got 28, and so I feel like I need to catch 50 today.
Bill O'Shin has been fishing in a large spawning bay and currently has 23 keepers for the day.
It's a typical post-spawn Columbia River spot. This is a big spawning bay back here, and this is kind of a clean spot right out here where the current washes over it, and these fish just sit here, and it's loaded with bait fish all around, and these fish will sit here and just pick them off as they come through. So the Columbia River has so much grass that anytime you can find kind of a clean spot, the fish will be using it, because that means that the current is washing over it. Been throwing an Alabama rig and a 6-inch swim bait. Got him. Felt big at first, but now not so much. I think he had me in some grass. My Cole. Had him hooeyed. Just gotta catch more anyway. Green.
As the day is close to wrapping up, Zach Richard and Hayden Lee both add another smallmouth to their keeper count, trying to make the top 10 cut line. It's time for the anglers to check back in at Boardman and weigh in their limits of bass. Here's a look at the end of day 2. Nick Cloutier made a day for himself, jumping into the top spot on the keeper count. There was no stopping the duo of Colby Pearson and Jake Boomer, who both had over 100 scorable bass in 2 days of fishing. Don't go anywhere. The Bass Boat Technologies BAM Pro Tour, presented by Tackle Warehouse on the Columbia River, will be right back for Championship Sunday.
Hi, this is Josh McMurray. I'm the city manager for the city of Oakley. We're located on the Delta. We have a beautiful shoreline, and we really want to promote the city as the gateway to the Delta and showcase everything that we have to offer. We have a beautiful downtown that's expanding, brand new restaurants. What we're trying to do is build that brand to make sure that people know that you can come to Oakley and you can do everything that you want associated with the Delta, and you can still stay here, eat here, and have a good time in a very family-friendly and safe environment.
Tackle Warehouse has been the premier online tackle shop since 2003, with a huge selection of not only the latest and greatest from the biggest brands, but the hard-to-find regional specialties as well. Tackle Warehouse. Click, save, fish.
The newest addition to the Basscat STS family is here. Introducing the Caracal STS, showcasing aggressive styling, paired with enhanced performance and a continued dedication to raising the bar. Measuring in at 20 feet 2 inches with an ultra-wide 96-inch beam and rated for a 250 to 300 horsepower engine, the Caracal STS boasts agility and speed and is finished with premium features to satisfy any angler. Basscat Boats. Feel the rush.
Welcome back to the BAM Pro Tour, presented by Tackle Warehouse and Bass Boat Technologies. The third stop on the Columbia River has been nothing but exciting, and of course we want to give a big thank you to the city of Boardman, Oregon for all their help and for hosting this great event. Boardman is a charming town with a rich history and vibrant community. Founded in the early 20th century as a railroad town, Boardman quickly grew thanks to the Umatilla Project, which brought crucial irrigation to the Columbia Basin and transformed the area into a thriving agricultural hub. Today, Boardman continues to thrive with its picturesque Boardman Marina Park, offering scenic views and recreational activities along the Columbia River. The town also hosts lively community events and has diversified its economy with the Boardman Industrial Park, attracting various businesses and boosting local employment. Explore Boardman's blend of historical roots and modern vitality. It's a community with a unique history and a promising future. Boardman has a rich history in agriculture, but for today's anglers, it's all about the bass in the river.
I feel great, you know. I mean, other than the wind
blowing a little bit, I feel great, but I actually like the wind because for a guy like me who loves to power fish, it helps the power fishing game. And so, you know, especially with the weight zeroing, it's pretty much almost a new, you know, river all over again, and so you got to figure them out.
You know, I think it's just going to change boat positioning. Hopefully I'll be able to stay on the spot if the wind does kick up. I have maybe 5 or 6 different areas that have fish, so I'm sure I'll weed through a bunch today. I have been hooking some really big ones, 4 and 5 pound fish. Haven't unfortunately got them in the boat, but that's all right because I haven't needed them until today. Today it really all counts. You got to bring in the biggest bag, the weight's zeroed, so I'm going to go out there, fight the wind a little bit, maybe throw some different techniques that are more accommodating for the wind, but I don't think it's going to affect me too much.
But yeah, I think I'm fishing pretty different than most guys in the field. Everyone's pretty much fishing like offshore structure. And there's good ones out there, but they've got the water stable, at least they did yesterday. And when they bring the water up and it stays stable, a lot of those fish from the outside, the big ones move to the bank, and they're having some fun in the grass. They're having some fun. So I'm gonna run a bunch of big fish spots and try to get my wolf packs to go.
It's Championship Sunday for the 3rd stop of the BAM Pro Tour. 10 anglers are getting ready to face the mighty Columbia River one last time. Who will leave Oregon a BAM champion? It's time to go. Winds are expected to be dangerous later in the day, so our anglers will have a shorter window of fishing. Let's start championship fishing with Carl Okerman.
Yeah, so the bass, when they're coming up towards the top, they're chasing shad and salmon smolt, or steelhead smolt, whatever's running through here. And you'll see these little fish running against the surface. And you can tell when the smallmouth are after them because they're coming out of the water about 6 inches and they're running for their lives, and there's a big wolf, usually a big wolf pack of smallmouth chasing them. And the fish that are chasing the smolt are typically a little bit bigger fish. Yesterday, the first day I was doing pretty good catching them when they were blowing up. And then yesterday, they're a little more finicky. Yesterday morning I was having a little difficulty trying to catch those ones that were, there's one. Oh, come off. Just keep casting. Top water, you do lose quite a few fish. Here's about a 2.5 pounder I just lost. There's one. A little better one. That'll give me 5.
Bill O'Shin is fishing close to Carl. Bill lands a quick keeper on the A-rig to get his morning started on a windy Columbia River. Colby Pearson has had an impressive start to the BAM Pro Tour with 2 back-to-back wins. Colby also has put his stamp on the Columbia River after catching 111 total scorable bass over the past 2 days.
The main thing to keep in mind when targeting smallmouth is they're primarily visual feeders. So they're gonna set up typically in places that allow them to kind of get the competitive upper hand against their prey. They like to be able to see it from a long distance, hunt it down, and then end up attacking it. So if you're gonna go smallmouth bass fishing, definitely focus on ambush points where they can set up and visually feed and pursue prey. If the water's dirty, obviously that's not as prevalent, but a lot of these fish in this river are suspended on humps or on the top sides of boulders and things like that, and they're just positioned looking up current, waiting for that prey to come down. The one thing that I'd recommend if you're gonna go chase, especially big smallmouth, is if you try to feed them like a largemouth, they're probably not gonna bite. Try to play a little bit of keep away with those fish, and if you get in a proverbial foot race with a smallmouth, you're gonna lose that race every time. You can't reel fast enough. So throw to the fish, get them engaged with your bait, reel it away from them. They're gonna come up and get it if they're active, and that's definitely gonna help you put a few more in the boat.
maybe. I don't think so. I don't think that does anything for us. Yeah, probably that one. Yeah, easy. Yeah, a little bit. Got a pretty mediocre limit in the box. Couple, you know, 1 or 2 fish I could afford to weigh in, but other than that, I need to go find some 4-pounders. The wind's making it really hard. I mean, it's hard to position the boat. It's hard to feel your bait. So yeah, we're just gonna keep grinding. Hopefully something good happens and try to quit catching these little guys.
There's one. I'll be super careful with the fish. I'm only running 6-pound test. Damn. Oh yeah, upgrading all the time.
Nick Cloutier led the tournament with the most weight going into Championship Sunday. But with our format, weights reset on the final day. Will Nick be able to bring in another healthy limit to the scales?
Yeah, they're boiling on these little salmon. If you can get it in front of them and get one, they're the better fish. And they've been doing it today, but I mean, yesterday when they were doing that through my topwater, they were all over it. And that's how I caught a lot of the, you know, bigger fish. But today it seems like they're just keyed in on that bait and they don't really want to chase anything else down, which is weird. I mean, usually I throw the topwater, the A-rig, or this next to them and I at least get one, because I mean, it's just big wolf packs chasing bait up on the surface. I mean, there's just a whole herd of them down there right now. And you'll see them kind of pop up, and when they get to chasing the bait, you know, usually you can get 1 or 2. Just gonna throw what I know and hopefully they turn on here. At least 5 of them.
As the camera boat rolls up, Hayden Lee reels in his 5th bass of the morning. As the shorter day slows down, let's hear from a few of the other top anglers before they head into weigh-in.
I had a little snafu. I staring at the screen too much and rolled my line up in the trolling motor, but I think I got out of it mildly unscathed. I just have to retie. But I started out this morning, the plan was don't die anywhere. The keeper count thing's not gonna work. I'm just throwing back 2-pounders. I'm not even trying to catch them. I need a big one, but I do have one really good one. The more I look for them, there's just not a lot of them doing in a setup so that I could catch them. But normally tournament anglers like to just throw everything, you know, their plan to the wind and go do what they think can win, and I do that all the time. And really what I need to do is what I'm comfortable with, and then hopefully I run into the right group. But I'm not gonna just like throw my whole plan out. I'm not gonna grab a glide bait and start going down grass lines. I'm gonna do this because this is what I know how to do, and then just rotate my areas a lot faster, a lot more aggressively. Trying to stay ahead of the wind too. Doing this is chasing them offshore. I've got 2 in the box, both off the 2. I got like a 2.5, two 2.5s and like a 5, and the 2.5s came off of the A-rig. So I'm gonna keep chucking them. As long as it's windy, they'll eat more of a reaction bait. As soon as the sun comes up, they kind of reposition, but I'm chasing them offshore. I'm throwing everything at them, from a drop shot to a Demecs rig to a, you name it. I'll throw my wallet at them if they'll bite it and come back.
You know, it's a pretty crazy morning. I've been fishing here every single day, and I've been coming later in the day. I haven't got here in the mornings. And I rolled up this morning, the wind was blowing. I tied on an A-rig first thing when I launched the boat. And first 10 casts, I had, you know, 2 right around 4. And then 20 minutes later, they started blowing up out here, and I caught 2 more 3.5-pounders. So we've got a pretty good bag going so far. 16 or so? I probably got about 18, wow. maybe some more. Yeah, I think my small one's 3.3. So if we can get rid of that dude at the 4-pounder, we'll probably have a shot. Just kind of rolling this A-rig on this point, kind of just slopes out here and the current hits it right here. And they're just stacked. They're getting pretty educated though, because I have been here for the last 3 days beating on them pretty good.
It's time for our top 10 anglers to brave the windy Columbia River and check into Boardman Marina one last time before we crown a champion on the BAM Pro Tour stage. Final weigh-in is coming up next.
Randall and I want to talk to you real quick about choosing the right electronics mount for your bass boat.
And we know the quality and effort that Van Foster has put into this company.
So what you get is a custom fitted mount, not some mass produced universal mount for every bass boat out there.
Seat pedestal plugs, tool holders, steering wheel spacers, and battery trays are all made with the same attention to detail that Bass Boat Technologies is known for. Check them out at bassboattech.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hey folks, pro bass fisherman Mark Lassane here. My garage was completely cluttered with outdoor gear, but then I discovered StoreQuest self-storage. Now check out my space. It's like my own personal oasis. All my fishing rods, my gear have a home away from home. With everything neatly organized, I can spend more time doing what I love. Thanks to my StoreQuest unit, I've decluttered my life and made room for adventure.
Bass Angler Magazine brings you more. If you want to learn the latest techniques, win your next bass tournament, or simply catch more bass, then Bass Angler Magazine is for you. From California to Florida, finesse to frogging, Bass Angler Magazine is jam-packed with how-to information from the world's best pros. Published every season, Bass Angler Magazine is crammed with fresh new articles designed to help anglers of all levels learn more and catch more bass. Sign up at bassanglermag.com today. Bass Angler is also available at Tackle Warehouse, Bass Pro, Cabela's, or for your mobile device at the Apple Newsstand.
Welcome back to the BAM Pro Tour, brought to you by Tackle Warehouse and Bass Boat Technologies. Our top 10 anglers are making their way to the staging tanks, preparing for the final weigh-in. The moment has arrived to declare a champion on the Columbia River.
But our next angler, we're gonna bring him up here. He's out of Blanchard, Idaho, and his name is Carl Okerman. Carl, come on up. 1894. Great way to start this tournament off.
As Carl takes the hot seat, Ish Monroe comes up next, but isn't able to dethrone Okerman.
There's some gorgeous, gorgeous fish out of that Columbia River.
Jason Hickey steps up to the plate next.
Jason, I got a seat for you. 1922. Great weight right there.
To start things off, you know, I went to some areas that I found a month ago that had really big groups of fish, and the fish were active, schooling fish, and so I thought, you know, I felt like the best idea would be to go and catch as many of those as possible, and hopefully they were big, but if not, I knew there was a lot of numbers, and hopefully get in on that total fish count. I honestly was looking forward to the wind. I knew I could put the big baits in my hand all day. Man, I just covered water with that S-Waver, and when they ate it, they were the right ones usually.
As Jason Hickey takes over the hot seat, angler Conrad Demecs heads up to the scales.
He's got 5 fish. He needs 1922. Conrad, wow, that was short-lived for Jason. Good job, 1962. 1962. All right, there's some beautiful fish right there.
And just like that, another rotation in the hot seat. As the next few anglers take the stage, they are not able to knock down Conrad's weight. Two-time champion Colby Pearson is next up, trying to cement history with a three-peat.
1963 is what we're looking for. 1963, that scale's got to say it. Another one dodged. 1794, 1794.
That just leaves one angler left, Nick Cloutier.
Together, we're all going to learn at the same time who the champion of the Columbia River is. He needs 1963. Everybody, we're looking for 1963. Your champion is Conrad Demecs right there. 11:55 for Nick. Congratulations on being a champion.
So it's pretty crazy. I did not expect it this morning. You know, I didn't have that great of a day yesterday weight-wise. You know, I knew I had one area that had some big ones, and if I could figure out how to catch them, I knew I could potentially have that 18 to 20 pound bag. And it was really conditional this morning. You know, the wind was blowing, and the spot just set up perfect. It was kind of protected from the wind, but there was still some disturbance on the water, which just allowed me to catch them easier. I didn't have to work as hard to catch them. And you know, the first 45 minutes I had all of my weight, and it was just one after the other, and my execution was 100%, which was huge. And on crazy smallmouth like these guys, that's hard to do. Throwing, you know, an Alabama rig and a walking bait were really the two big keys to catching those fish this morning. So I was in a pretty popular section of the lake, but I really only saw 2 to 3 guys every day really sit down and fish around me. A lot of guys blowing past. Like today I saw Colby for probably a good better half the day, and then Jake as well. I saw him for several times stop in. We actually ended up fishing the same spot for a while. So, you know, these guys are good. They're gonna find everything. And, you know, just a guy who executes and has a little luck on his side. Colby's a great guy. You know, I've got to meet all these guys this year that, you know, I've been watching on, you know, different tournament trails, and we've never got to meet. So meeting all these guys is super cool. But yeah, I wasn't gonna let Colby take an Oregon trophy too, so I had to go back and get him for sure.
Congratulations to Conrad Demecs for conquering the Columbia River. Next time on the BAM Pro Tour, we head to the Thermalito After Bay in California for the last regular season event. Don't miss it.
Oh, dude, look at that.
Spencer Lazar here to explain why you need Eternal Lithium batteries in your boat. The cost of our batteries over their life is a fraction of dead acids or AGMs, providing 5 times the power at 1/3 of the weight. We use a high-quality Bluetooth BMS and grade A cells, giving us the confidence to offer a 12-year industry-leading warranty. Eternal Lithium provides peace of mind that you've got reliable, reserve power to keep you safe and give you a chance to win. Contact us now for a free power consultation.
Hi, this is Josh McMurray. I'm the city manager for the city of Oakley. We're located on the Delta. We have a beautiful shoreline, and we really want to promote the city as the gateway to the Delta and showcase everything that we have to offer. We have a beautiful downtown that's expanding, brand new restaurants. What we're trying to do is build that brand to make sure that people know that you can come to Oakley and you can do everything that you want associated with the Delta, and you can still stay here, eat here, and have a good time in a very family-friendly and safe environment.
Champions fish with Garmin.
That's me, sweetheart.